Hi, I'm Billy Gwaltney, and this is the CYA Podcast. This show is for the physician who understands the importance of protecting everything you've worked so hard to achieve. Each week, I'll bring you tips and advice to help you cut through the clutter and misinformation and show you exactly what you need to preserve your income and way of life. If you're ready to achieve the peace of mind that only financial security can bring, let's get started. Welcome to today's episode of the Cover Your Assets podcast. This is your host, Billy Gwaltney, and I'm glad to be with you today. Continuing our kind of Q&A related to the webinar I did with the American College of Surgeons, their financial literacy series they put together for residents and fellows and associate members. I was asked to speak about disability insurance, and one of the questions that I got during that time and we covered was naming which insurance companies offer the true specialty own occupation coverage. And that's a good question. We're going to name names in this one. There are four, and there are only four. Outside of these four, it gets muddy quick from a definition standpoint. The first one is Mass Mutual. They are excellent, been around for 125 to 150 years, perhaps longer, but I know it's at least 125. They're really good. They're a mutual company, very solid contract. The next one is Guardian, who's been around just as long, excellent contract, typically a more well-known name, especially if someone's talked to a mentor. You know, if a physician bought insurance back in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, there's a good chance they bought Guardian. A lot's changed since then. Guardian's still in the top, but these others have come a really long ways and are strong competitors. The third one is Emeritus. They're probably the smallest. I think they are the smallest of the four, but they're excellent at what they do. We have a lot of clients with them. They're really easy to deal with generally. If you're going to need an exception at some point during the life of your policy, they're going to be the ones you hope you have. They're excellent. And the fourth one is Principal. They're really strong. Mass Mutual, Guardian, and Emeritus are mutual companies. Principal is a stock company. Been around, again, over 100 years. They're really good. Their contract is strong. And a lot of times they have the lowest rate depending on your specialty. Of course, that can change. You want to look at the details of your situation to cover that in detail. There are a couple of companies that have been on the fringe. I don't want to mention them by name here. I would be happy to talk with you about them individually. If you're thinking, hey, I thought there were five or I thought there were six, a blog I read said there's six or whatever. There could be, but they are outliers. There's some concerns with those options that you would want to know about before you go with them. You can certainly go with them. None of our clients do. We don't broker them, don't plan to. And they're just some pitfalls we want to not have to navigate down the road. So these are the four we broker. All of our clients pick from that list that are picking at this point now. This is obviously subject to change in the future. Some of our clients bought policies with MetLife a number of years ago. They were one of the tops. So they used to be a top option, and they got out of offer. They don't sell new policies anymore to individual physicians that are going through underwriting. And so they're not an option, but their contract is still strong. It's non-cancelable, guaranteed renewable. So the policies that they have, clients just can, as long as they pay the premium, it'll function exactly as they want or expecting it to. MetLife has to honor that. And so I just mentioned that this list could change over time. Of course, hopefully a podcast I would update that. But as it is here in 2022, these are the four. If medical screening is a concern and none of these four can offer coverage, then there are two options we go to. One would be a surety. Tends to specialize or does specialize in people with medical histories that still want to get own occupation coverage. Lloyd's of London is another option. They are pretty strong in offering a true own occupation coverage. They usually issue policies with a 5-year period or 4 or 5 year period. So you'd have to update the medical screening every 5 years. But that's a really good option. It's certainly better than no coverage, and they have been good to work with. And so there are some other options that if these four are not attainable for some reason due to medical history, don't give up. Still get coverage. Talk to a specialist that does this, and they can help you. I'd be happy to help you if you have questions or at least point you in the right direction. If there's a better alternative, then we're going to take you to that. And so Hope this has been helpful. It's a short episode just to cover names and kind of move on down the road. Please feel free to text me anytime to arrange a conversation. Be happy to talk with you. My number is 704-270-2376. Again, 704-270-2376. Have a great rest of the day. Until we meet again, this is Billy Gwaltney. Thank you as always for your time.
This is thepodcastfactory.com.